Why is saving your money making you go broke? Let's just use an example. Let's say it was somebody's from the 70s and they were worried because inflation was going nuts and they were worried about recessions, everything else. So they went to a cash position and maybe they just put it in gold, or maybe they just tucked it underneath. Maybe they just took US dollars and put it underneath their mattress. Here's the problem. The devaluation of those dollars has been extreme. You know, I don't know the numbers sitting here right in front of me today, but let's just say you had 50,000. The purchasing power of that $50,000 has been eroded down to about $10,000 nowadays, right? What happens is the value of your dollars has been declining, while the assets of real estate and the stock market have been increasing. So what does that tell you? It means you want to put yourself in investments that combat inflation. So even if you're being super conservative, even if you're saying there's a recession coming, I'm really worried, I need to keep powder dry, you need to put it into things that are at least going to combat inflation. There are things like tips, there's bonds, there's savings accounts, there's things that will help take some of the sting out, but ultimately you're going to have to take some risk by putting it in the stock market and by putting it into real estate. I'm not saying you're going to dump it all in there. I'm saying is that you're going to position it so that at the end of the day, you're not going to watch your money erode because inflation is eating it up. The value of the dollar is affected real simply by how many more dollars they put into society. Like we just saw this in the last few years since COVID. There's $4 trillion put in society and they're saying, oh, we didn't see inflation coming. What are you talking about? You just devalued everybody's dollars. That's a tax, guys. They literally took your dollar and made it worth less because they printed a bunch more dollars out. You can literally see them doing that. Now they're doing the let's raise interest rates because inflation is so high, and they're going to cause pain and suffering throughout society because companies aren't going to be able to get money and pay enough to you because they're going to be paying it to somebody else in the form of debt, because it's so much more expensive to borrow. And you're going to see that continue to increase. What you're going to see is we're going to erode our purchasing power even greater. But here's the thing. As that erosion is occurring, it's melting your dollars sitting in the bank. You don't even see it, but when you go to spend money, the purchasing power, because of inflation, has been eroded so significantly. The purchasing power, because they're printing more dollars, is eroding, and you have less purchasing power. So you have to put your assets into assets, and those assets have to be something that's a cash flow asset that is going up and being buoyed by those same forces that are reducing the dollars, is going to push the value of those assets up. And the only two I see are the stock market and real estate. Now, I do not just say blanketly, throw your money in the stock market, although historically that's not a bad idea, just to do an index fund or something like that. Chances are you're going to be a lot better off than just leaving it into cash. You're not just going to go blindly into real estate and buy everything, but you're going to buy cash flow assets, things that pay you just to own them. And you're going to see that you are successful over a long period of time because you're never forced to sell, and because realistically, we don't care what we paid for. What we care is what it's generating. You're buying cash flow, and that is the recipe for success, period, no matter what the economy is doing.